Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. In today's video, we're going to take a brief look at how Ronald Koeman's Barcelona were able to tactically maneuver around Celta Vigo's pressing with Philippe Coutinho playing a key role. When we break down the game and we do look at the board, we have Barcelona playing in a 4-2-3-1 and Celta Vigo in a 3-5-2 that ultimately became a 5-3-2 out of possession. So the main tactical theme in this game was Celta Vigo's pressing and their persistence to push higher up the pitch to ensure that Barcelona couldn't play out of the back. When we assess how Celta aimed to implement their pressing higher up the pitch, what we end up seeing is more Iago Aspas stepping towards the center backs, the wing backs pushing forward to Jordi Alba and Sergi Roberto, and that's when we saw Vega and Denis Suarez stepping into the path of Sergio Busquets and Frenkie de Jong, who were dropping off deeper to receive possession. So as you can see, you have Barcelona's entire backline and their double pivot pressed out of the game, and that leaves their front four higher up the pitch. Now, what you initially ended up seeing was Philippe Coutinho dropping off into a deeper position in the midfield to drag out Tapia, but Tapia tracked his movement into that midfield zone. So initially, you would have 7 Barcelona players pressed out of the game in their own half, and it forced Neto and the Barcelona center backs to clear possession back to Celta Vigo. If we look to one example, we have Neto clipping out the ball to Jordi Alba, which pulled out Mayo, and that saw De Jong dropping deeper to receive the ball, but Vega's pressure led to a poor first touch from De Jong, and Mayo stepped in towards his path with Vega pushing out into the path of Jordi Alba, and De Jong ended up dropping off the ball to Lenglet, who cleared it into the path of Ansu Fati, but Edu was able to win that challenge. And ultimately, anytime Barcelona, in particular Lenglet, tried to clip the ball out to Ansu Fati, Edu was able to either win possession because of his aerial advantage, and there was one time where Lenglet looked to play the ball around Iago Aspas to split Vega and Mayo for Ansu Fati, but Edu was able to step into that loose pass. So as you can see, Celta's press did cause Barcelona a few issues in that opening half, but it was Coutinho and Messi's movement when they dropped off into deeper positions in that midfield zone that helped Barcelona overcome that press. When we look to one example, we have Neto splitting Vega and Suarez for Messi dropping off into the midfield, and as he receives Neto's pass, he spins away from Tapia and breaks at the Celta back 3, which creates a 4v3 situation. Luckily for Celta, Vega is able to track back well, and Messi can't set his feet properly to play a proper pass to set his teammates free, and ultimately settles for a short loose pass into Coutinho, who had to scoop it away from pressure. If we look to another example, we see Celta's front 2 stepping towards the Barcelona center backs, and Vega sitting on Busquets and Suarez on De Jong, but Lenglet is able to wrap the ball around more for Coutinho dropping off into his own half, and he's able to do that freely due to the fact that Messi also dropped off deeper into that midfield zone to occupy Tapia. The only way for Celta to overcome this issue is to have Murillo step into the path of Messi and then have Tapia step into the path of Coutinho, but because Murillo doesn't step into the path of Messi in that zone, Tapia has to pick him up, and that allows Coutinho to receive the ball and create a midfield overload. If we look to another example, we witness Celta's high press on the goal kick with Tapia stepping into the path of Coutinho positioned in Barca's half, and that's when you see Neto sliding the ball to Lenglet, who's able to evade Moore's press and play the ball across Suarez into Messi dropping deeper to pull out Murillo, who he ends up turning. As Messi receives that ball to make the turn, you can identify Frenkie de Jong running up beyond Vega, and that's when you see Messi play the ball beyond Murillo for Coutinho, who lets the ball roll across his body to evade Tapia's pressure and slide the ball into de Jong, darting into that vacant left channel. As De Jong breaks free down that left channel, you could see Ansu Fati making a run between Edu and Olaza, and you have Griezmann breaking free at the back post. This is where De Jong should play that ball into the path of Ansu Fati in left half space, but he opts to fizz a ball towards that back post for Griezmann, and his first touch is poor, which allows Olaza to recover and clear the lines. And when we look to one final example, we end up seeing more deep and not stepping into the path of Lenglet when he's on the ball, and that's when you should see him shift into the path of De Jong because Vega is higher and could push to Lenglet. That doesn't happen, and Vega sticks towards De Jong, and that's when we see Coutinho in his own half spinning across Tapia to dart forward to pull him out of position, and that allows Lenglet to find Messi, who pulls out Murillo and turns on the outside away from him to poke the ball into Griezmann, which pulls out Araujo. Griezmann is able to hold off Araujo and slide the ball across him for Coutinho, who's free to drop off Murillo. And he slides the ball wide to Jordi Alba, which pulls out Mayu. And with Mayu stepping into the path of Alba, that's when you see Ansu Fati darting into left half space. But Jordi Alba makes the wrong decision by not playing an Ansu Fati and looking to play a low poor ball towards the edge of the box that Tapia clears. However, Barcelona were still able to get into good attacking zones through their overall build-up play, and it was similar to what we saw in their opening game, with the front four being able to interchange positions. You had Ansu Fati and Griezmann looking to tuck in a bit narrow and making runs in behind, and you witnessed Coutinho and Messi swapping positions when they got the chance by dropping off deeper to receive the ball in that midfield zone. What should be noticed that when Coutinho and Messi were in those deeper midfield positions, there were often two runners darting in beyond that Celta Vigo defense to provide the penetration. Initially, we witnessed De Jong dropping a ball square to Messi ahead of Denis Suarez, and we see Griezmann spin around Olaza to make a run into the box, and Coutinho running between Mayu and Edu as Ansu Fati runs across Edu as well. But rather than looking to play the better pass over the top, Messi attempts to split Vega and Tapia, and his pass falls into the path of Edu. When you look to the build-up to Barcelona's opening goal, you have Griezmann ahead of Olaza, squaring the ball to Busquets and running off Olaza into the box, while Messi runs across Edu, and that's when you see the Celta shuttler swarming Busquets, forcing him to play a loose pass into Murillo, and he clears it into the path of Coutinho, who guides a first-time pass across Tapia into Ansu Fati ahead of Edu, who lets the ball roll across his body and finishes superbly. Minutes later, you have Ansu Fati pulling out Murillo central and dropping off the ball to Messi in a narrow right position as he cuts across Denis Suarez, and that's when you witness Jordi Alba running across Mayu and Ansu Fati darting between Edu and Murillo, but Messi's pass for Coutinho darting freely into the box was blocked by Vega. If we assess another example of Barca's poor decision-making, you could witness De Jong carrying a rollout from Neto across Mayu and towards Tapia in that midfield zone. And that's when you witness all of Barcelona's attackers in 1v1 situations. And rather than playing Ansu Fati free off Edu, he ends up playing a short pass across Tapia into the path of Coutinho to halt the counterattack. Still, the game did take a shift following Lenglet's sending off, as Barcelona were forced to drop into more of a 4-4-1 with Messi up front, and that led to Araujo coming on for Griezmann, and that pushed Coutinho and Ansu Fati out into the wider areas. We did see Celta shift their formation as well, initially shifting to a 4-3-1-2, or you could say it was more of a midfield diamond with Beza coming on for Edu, and the reason why they would shift to a 4-3-1-2 is now they could push the fullbacks forward to peg back Coutinho and Ansu Fati, and then look to combat in midfield as Barcelona were dominating the center of the pitch. However, Coutinho and Messi were still the X factors in this game, and when you look to the build-up to Barcelona's second goal, it initially starts with Coutinho winning the throw-in. When Sergi Roberto receives the ball in midfield, you see Coutinho looking to make a run beyond Denis Suarez into the right channel, and Sergio Busquets hits a first-time pass before Tapia can step in for Coutinho, breaking into that space to drag out Murillo and Denis Suarez. And seconds later, it was Messi ahead of Araujo, sliding the ball to Coutinho running across Olaza, and Coutinho drops it off to Messi. And what we see from Coutinho here is that he makes that run across Murillo to take him out of the game, and that allows Messi to go 1v1 with Araujo and skip past Olaza, and his ball to Coutinho running goal side of Mayu is deflected into the net. And along with Coutinho hitting the post following a Messi setup, just before the hour mark, we could see him once again influencing the game, following a Sergio Roberto throw-in where he lets the ball roll across his body to bypass Olaza, and he ends up clipping the ball over both center backs for Messi darting into that space in that right channel. Messi's able to pick up the ball in right half space with Araujo shifting over, and he ends up pulling the ball across Denis Suarez and Olaza for Coutinho, breaking towards the edge of the box, but once again he's denied by the keeper. Hi everybody, thanks for watching, and subscribe here for your latest tactical analysis and daily commentary on the InnerViews show. And if that wasn't enough, don't forget you could find more organic, unfiltered soccer/football analysis on the InnerViews podcast, the best soccer/football podcast in the world, available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and any Android apps on your Android devices.